There we go. Where my notif squad at? Huh? Figured I would get in a quick stream before I got busy with two amazing games tonight. Hey, Safe. Yeah, I'll give it a minute for notifications to go out, but I'm also just finishing up some other uploads right now. But yeah, we got Spider-Man and Mario Wonder tonight, man, like in a couple hours. I'm super pumped, but also intimidated. I guess Spider-Man will probably be the main game that I start playing for a bit on stream. Hey Judah, hey Poncho. Early? Is that a joke because it's so late today? Because yes, I know. I've been like, so I've been on like kind of a night schedule again, where I'm waking up like only a couple hours ago. Because I've been recording a lot of stuff in the middle of the night. You gonna stream them or just video and let's play? So the plan is I'll probably stream Spider-Man first because that's something that I can just stream for like a couple hours tonight. What I'm gonna do with Mario is I'm thinking that I'll have a recorded let's play, but I'll also do some streams here and there as well, just because of the fact that it has 12-player multiplayer, and I would love to like create a room to play with people on stream. So I'll probably like maybe I'll stock up and record like the first world, and then I'll stream, but I'll stay within that first world or something like that, because I don't want to get too far into it. Like Mario's going to be a bit of a weirder one. Hey Bobby, hey Multi. But yeah, Spider-Man will be streaming tonight for sure. I'm not even sure we probably won't even get a Crystal Force Spear today, by the way, just because. Yes. Okay, there we go. So I'm just gonna publish some of these videos here. Sorry, I just kind of started and like I just started streaming while I'm doing some other stuff, but I figured it'll be time for notifications to actually go out. Ew. Freaking YouTube, man. Like these videos, like, oh, the Bang on Balls video I just uploaded. It's like SD version of the video, complete HD version. 2 hours left. Like, what did YouTube do? What did they change, man? It takes so much longer for videos to process now. Ridiculous. So I'm just doing these dailies, even though the actual resource that I need is the candy corn. But whatever. There is also a low-key secret reason why I may be trying to get a C4 spear. Most of all, there's the rumors. Take it with a grain of salt. Rumors is that the next class is going to end up having spear as the main weapon for Trove, if that's even a thing. Yeah, I didn't do a playthrough on the channel of the Miles Morales game, but I played it off camera. What I enjoyed about it was how it was short and sweet. It was pretty good, but I already played Spider-Man, like the other one, and Miles just kind of added like a couple new power-ups, that was it. But I'm hoping that Spider-Man 2 is actually like something bigger and better. I hope you get to play as Venom, because you got to do that in the other Spider-Man game. All right, I'm just gonna hide down here. No one's gonna find me. I just gotta make sure that I'm not the first person dead, that's all. Yeah, like, so for me personally, Poncho, like I prefer short and sweet because I felt like Spider-Man 1 kind of wore out its welcome, you know, like it was too long. And I'm hoping Spider-Man 2 doesn't feel the same. The big thing is, like, I'm gonna be real. I'm more excited about Mario Wonder. Because Spider-Man, I feel, is just going to be another one. You know, it's going to be a great game for sure. Obviously, I'm probably going to give it like a 4 out of 5 in my rating. I can just tell it's going to be really high quality. But it's just another generic open world game, you know? Just at least the movement is a lot better. Hey, Voodoo. Also, hey, Matt, how are you enjoying the Fox class? Yeah, I mean, sure. He's okay. Whee! I love that sound. That's my favorite. Do you complete the side missions in Spider-Man and get all the costumes? No, probably not. Like, it depends. Because if I'm super addicted to the game and I don't want the adventure to end, yeah, I'll go for the collectibles. But more often than not, what happens is I kind of get tired of it. Like, you know, around, like I kind of usually, Assassin's Creed Mirage is a prime example. Because I did the exact same thing in that game. Where I got, you know, I got a little bit of ways into the story. Then I explored the city off camera. And then by the time I started recording the main story again, I was already kind of getting bored of the game, so I started rushing the main story. And it should have ended at 10 hours, but instead it ended at 20 hours, and it just kept going on and on and on. Like, the thing is, for me, if the game mechanics don't evolve in any way that is interesting, you know, you're basically just playing the same game from the beginning all the way up until the end. And in my opinion, a lot of games could benefit from being a lot shorter. I don't want to like super criticize Spider-Man or anything. It's like, I obviously am a big Spider-Man fan, but I think the problem for me is I can't help but compare it to the old Spider-Man games. And if I'm being perfectly honest, Spider-Man games as a whole have not changed since the PS2. They've always just, you know, once they ended up perfecting the swinging in the Spider-Man 2 movie video game, they haven't really changed anything. It's like, oh, they got the good swinging, they got the open world map. That's it, you know? Like, I'll admit, Insomniac has, like, they have the formula down pat, but I want to see it evolve, you know? Like, it hasn't had its Breath of the Wild moment. It's like the Spider-Man movies. They're a great time, but they're a dime a dozen, you know? That said, yes, I'm going to be dressing up as Spider-Man for the series. I hope it evolves in some way, shape, or form. The thing, too, is, you know, they gotta have Venom as a playable character. You want to know why they gotta have him as a playable character? Because they already had Venom as a playable character in another older Spider-Man game. Like, seriously, dude. That's all I want. I just want to play Venom and eat people. Anyways, is it supposed to be a bigger open world this time, Poncho? It's like more of New York, right? Because usually they have it all like barrierized, so I don't know. Speaking of Assassin's Creed, why'd you burn the cat? I didn't mean to. I honestly was doing it as a joke because I thought the cat would just run off or nothing would happen. Blame the devs for making it actually like do something. Seriously, dude, that was a surprise. Hey, Mystic. Hey, Norm. Actually, you know what? You right. I should tweet out that I'm streaming because notifications don't go out. There we go. It's gonna be more of New York. Okay. See, that's the thing too. Like, how about not New York? How about Spider-Man goes into the Spider-Verse stuff? How about we go into a different, like, environment? I think that's the big reason why all these Spider-Man games feel so samey to me, because it's like, it's the same map over and over. Oh, it's slightly bigger this time, and I'm supposed to get excited, you know? I mean, that said, like, again, I know I'm gonna love it. I want to be clear, it's gonna be a fantastic game for sure. And I mean, in my opinion, at least it's Spider-Man, so the theme is gonna be way cooler. You know, open world games are just, basically they're all like copy and pasted at this point, save for like Zelda and other games that try to do something unique. But at least playing as Spider-Man is like, okay, well, at least I'm playing as someone cool. Oh, okay, pumpkin dungeons. Looks like these dungeons are already all done. I don't know. Hey, Zaris. Who's your hockey team? Only time I'll ever ask. Nobody, I'm sorry. I'm a nerd gamer, so I've never really been into sports. The only sport that I've been into is F1, because my wife got me into it. She likes hockey. I do not. Which, don't tell any other Canadians that, otherwise they'll probably try to kill me. Wait, why am I fighting these guys? I keep thinking I have the objective to kill these random enemies, but no, I just gotta do the pumpkins. Where are my bombs? There we go. We'll end up doing some 5-star ships and stuff after this. If you guys want to tag along, you're more than welcome. Nowadays, it's just a bunch of companies fighting to get games out faster. Yes. And unfortunately, like, I mean, I don't want to get too into it, but generally speaking, I'd say Japanese companies are the only ones that still kind of take their time, and it's like they value the consumer, you know? Western companies, it's very, very rare. It's not even just Japanese companies. I guess it's just Western companies, because even, wasn't Baldur's Gate, like, they're not in the US, are they? Point being is, you know, it's that high level of consumerism, America, rah, 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 that is what's cornering the market and making things atrocious. Like Starfield. But Starfield was actually pretty good. Or at least I enjoyed it, even though it felt 25 years old. The funny thing is, I don't know if you guys saw, you know, there was that big spiel with the leaked documents from Xbox. And I think Starfield, like, Starfield was originally scheduled to come out in like 2020, but because of all the virus stuff, it got delayed. And it was just like, dude, that totally makes sense. If it released around then, it would have been like huge. But the fact that they gave it a couple years and we've already had like so many other games like really just pushing the envelope. Are you planning on a new video for returning / new players? I was looking at some of your old videos. A lot seem to have changed. I'll have to double check that video, but yeah, I'll write that down at the very least. I can't promise when. But yeah, it's probably about time that I do one of those. See, the thing is, I usually try to do these types of videos, like those types of videos, like once a year. And I think I already did one this year, so that's kind of why, like, I'm just waiting. But yeah, I know, like Elden Ring, Zelda, like we've already had like so many other games come out that are like the highest quality of their genre. And then Starfield comes out and it's like, it's Skyrim with space mod. Again, I enjoyed the game. I did. But I wouldn't say that it's anything new, you know? Elden Ring DLC win. So I'm assuming it's going to be announced at the Game Awards this year. There's a lot of things that hint towards that. Even Jeff Keighley went to FromSoft Studios this year and tweeted about it. And me and a bunch of my buddies are like, come on, you know, he wouldn't be advertising that if it wasn't like, you know, them striking a deal to reveal it at Game Awards. Because as far as I can tell, more than likely we'll have the DLC come out spring or summer of next year, just because the timeline would sync up, because that already gave them like a couple years to develop it. And I cannot wait. I like how some people are trying to say Lords of the Fallen is like Elden Ring. That game sucks. Funny thing is, so I was playing Lords of the Fallen like when it first came out. I refunded it, but my buddy was playing it with me, and I was just telling him like, dude, this is like a worse version of Dark Souls 3. And wouldn't you know it, he never played Dark Souls 3. He went and bought Dark Souls 3, and he has been addicted to it over this past week. Oh, God. I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of people, you know, don't really understand with my reviews and how critical they can end up being is what IGN and other reviewers normally will do is they actually rate games based on what's relevant, you know, what's recently come out, you know. But for me personally, I can't help but compare these games to other games that already exist, you know? And for me, it's like, yeah, Lords of the Fallen 2 is just like, oh, we have Dark Souls 3 at home. Like, it's the Walmart version of Dark Souls. Everybody else is sitting there like, oh, it's such a good game. It's like, is their brain not working or did they just not play Dark Souls? Because, yeah. I mean, don't even get me started on how good old games were. Like, seriously. I like, the AI... I don't know if you guys watched it because it was like 14 hours long. So I played through Thief Deadly Shadows. That game's from like 2000 or something like that, right? It had better AI than Assassin's Creed Mirage. That's saying something. Anyways, sorry. What were you guys saying? Came back to PC after PS4. Yes, last time I was around 2018 or so, barely scratched 10 KPR. Yeah, my most recent video should still kind of be relevant. It does talk about delves and stuff like that. There hasn't really been anything super game changing since then, like since the delves. But I should definitely do an updated video, that's for sure. Oh my god, this whole biome is... Oh, do I even need to do this biome? Oh no, I don't. Okay, we're good. Best Assassin's Creed game? I've heard Odyssey, or I don't know, maybe Valhalla. Personally, I like the RPG Assassin's Creed games more than the more traditional ones. Okay, we need U11 because that's better chance against C4. I'd love a rough video on PR progression. Oh, that's a good idea. I do have a video talking about PR stuff, so those are still relevant. But I'll write that down as well. Like I've got like lots of different videos obviously covering like more obscure aspects of the game. But yes. Yeah, Starfield has mods for sure, and the mods are what make that game good. Genuinely. If you don't have mods on that game, like I don't even understand why people would be that into it. Because the base game's kind of bleh. Especially with the game-breaking bugs. Mind telling me if the stuff are tradable or not? What stuff, Papricia? I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, there's a Boba Fett suit and Millennium Falcon and stuff in Starfield. That's funny. I like that. I played GTA Part 1. Nice. Pain. I still distinctly remember, like, I think I played GTA 2. 1 and 2 were basically the same game. And when I was playing GTA 2, I was thinking to myself, like, how annoying it was that you would constantly drive into traffic, because it was a top-down camera view, right? And then when the 3D GTA came out, like GTA 3, I lost it, man, because suddenly you didn't have that problem. You could just drive around the whole city and stuff. I never played the remakes. I heard they were awful, but I really enjoyed those games back in the day. Dishonored, yeah, Dishonored is a pretty good game. I didn't get into Dishonored, frankly speaking. I don't know, I just didn't like the theme, I guess. That whole valedictorian thing. It's the same reason I never got into Bloodborne. Even though I know I would really enjoy Bloodborne. I'm kind of just waiting if they do a remaster or something. But yeah, I never got into Dishonored for whatever reason, even though I can acknowledge it's a good game. If you ever get the chance, it's really, really old. It's really, really janky. But the Dishonored team, one of their first RPGs was called Arx Fatalis. Stupid name, I know. I'd recommend it. It's old, it's janky. There's a lot of community mods and stuff that fix it, but it is a weird game. It's really cool. I actually have it on my bucket list of playthroughs that I want to do one day. It's got a really interesting story that just kind of goes, and the entire game like takes place underground, which is interesting because the whole surface has been like bombshelled basically. Okay, doesn't seem. Can I create another one? But yeah, you can easily download it and find it. I don't know. I'd recommend it though. It's an interesting one. And it's more like traditional RPG, so swords and magic and stuff like that. The magic is weird in that game because you have to like click and draw the rune in order to cast the spell. So I wouldn't recommend it on a first playthrough. But yeah, I've got a big list of like these old retro games that I plan on playing. Yeah, sure, Poncho. Speaking of, though, back to what you asked Cosmex about best Assassin's Creed, I'm waiting on Assassin's Creed Japan, dude. Like, that's gonna be one of my favorite games, I feel. Unless Ghost of Tsushima 2 comes out first. Because that's gonna clearly be better, because Assassin's Creed is kind of, you know, not the highest quality. Ever play Postal? Yes, I did. So funny enough, I played... There was like a free demo of Postal back in the day. And you could like really, the funny thing is that was like back when it was one of those weird circumstances where if you used console commands and the config file, the demo actually had the entire game. so you could cheese it and get the entire game access. Some stuff was broken, like it didn't have all of the scripts or anything like that to progress through the main story, but you could mess around in all the different maps. I'm not into the new Postal games. They're kind of meh. I also don't want to do this dungeon. I want to do a tower dungeon. Or ship, or whatever they call them. Skelly and Frosty boxes, are they tradable if you even obtain them this time? Wait, Skelly and Frosty boxes. Skelly and Frosty boxes? What? Like, is that an event drop box from previous years? Because this year I'm pretty sure the only new box is the craftable one. And maybe they're tradable. I don't know. I didn't actually check. But there's the NPC in the hub that will let you craft them. Thinking about Genshin Mirage, what's your review on it? You know what? Did I already? Yeah, I already posted my review the other day, actually. It's pretty short too, so it's not like a super difficult video to watch, like half-hour long or anything like that. It's like if you want Mirage, I'm so torn. I can recommend it, but it's not without its problems. Again, if you want to know more details about my full thoughts on it, I'd recommend like checking out my review, because I'm not going to be able to make the same points right now, just off the top of my head. But in short, I think that the biggest thing that hurt the game was its length. It was a little too long. Combat sucked. Parkour starts out okay, but it doesn't really evolve in any meaningful way, you know? It's kind of just generic open world game. The funny thing is that I have a lot of personal comparisons of Mirage versus Ghost of Tsushima, but Tsushima was better, just because the gameplay was more fluent. It doesn't have parkouring on everything, though. But I've heard from a lot of people, like lots of people love Mirage. I think if you haven't played the OG Assassin's Creed games, or even the more recent Assassin's Creed games, it's an easy recommend. But if you have played them, well... Hey, Spooky. One time they had an NPC that sold them, but they didn't restock even after a year. I haven't checked if the Skelly has restocked this year for me. Ah, yes. Truly the Trove experience. Will it work? That's Trove in a nutshell, isn't it? Oh, what was I saw somebody make... Oh, Saris, that was your comment. Do you think Trove upgrade systems need a rework or overhaul? At least armor/weapons and gems. I don't know if it needs an overhaul. I think that the execution of it could have been better in the first place. I'm okay with where Trove is at currently. But what I'm scared of is they're just going to kind of keep doing the same thing over and over again, because it's a lot easier for them. Like the new update that we've got coming for Trove, it's a lot easier for them to just go, here's Crystal 5 gear. I wouldn't be happy with that. Because at this point, we need something more than just a higher tier of gear, you know? It's easy for them to do. That's kind of the thing. Them actually making it like, you know, something more interesting, that requires a lot more effort. I think if they have a bunch of systems around C5 gear that makes it more interesting instead of just a stat boost, could be cool. But it won't. It's just going to be stronger gear that's going to require even more of the same resources to upgrade that nobody has anymore because of the Cosmic Dragon being overpriced. So, I don't know, man. YouTube started rolling out the anti-block thing. Might see your revenue go up. So, so what Spooky's talking about, YouTube is starting to roll out updates that block people from using ad blocker, which I think is awesome. Obviously, it affects my income. No, but ad blocker still works, Spooky. They do. You just gotta be smarter about it. See, I'm not against people using ad blocker and stuff. It's just most of all, like, I would only ever ask, like, oh, just turn ad block off on the channels that you want to support. Like me. I genuinely think it's a good decision for YouTube to do that, but I don't think that they're ever going to be able to get the head of it and make it so that ad block doesn't work, you know? Because when you think about it, like, this is YouTube's CEO, like, just YouTube tech support trying to make it so that people can't use, like, ad blocker. And then ad blockers are open source with, like, genius people at the helm. Like, YouTube needs to hire them. Even so, I know that it can be a bit of a sore spot for people to be like, Mom, what? My ad blocker is stopped? The thing is, so many people, like, I think it's all situational based on your region and where you are and everything like that. Because the ads I get on YouTube, like, I never have ad blocker on because I don't care. I stopped using ad blocker as soon as I started doing YouTube as a career, like in 2011 or whatever, because I thought, well, I want to support the channels I'm watching, and it's just, you know, it made sense to my brain, just the way that I work. But anyways, long story short, the ads I get are like 5 seconds long, and, you know, they're almost always either skippable or just go by really quick. And then I was talking with my friend, and they're saying how they get like 2-minute non-skippable ads back to back. And I'm just telling them, like, it's like, that's up to the channel. Because the channel actually has the option of selecting non-skippable ads. Which, okay, idiot. I should do that on my most popular videos, right? Anyways, I'm sorry, I didn't mean the stream to get hijacked by all that stuff. I just thought it was an interesting topic. Problem I want to point out is if they do C5, it will be unbearably overpriced and unrealistic to obtain. Instead of rare and expensive stuff, it should be harder to obtain. Yes, I know. That's kind of what I mean, is I would be fine with C5 gear if it felt more important. I think it shouldn't be C5 gear. It should be something either that we have to upgrade C4 gear into, so that it already, you know, the RNG aspect can be getting C4 gear, but then upgrading it could require like a new resource that you have to grind a, I don't know, a raid boss on or something. But I mean, let's be real, Trove's never gonna have a raid boss or complex mechanics like that. I'm just saying, I think C5 is gonna be a mistake. Because with C4, it already pushed a lot of end game players, even such as myself, to be like, do I really need it? You know? And now C5 gear is coming, and it's like, do I need it? No, I don't. I'm already strong enough. Like, unless the stat increase is that much better, but even so, it's like, I'm still only gonna get it on like 1 or 2 characters, and even then, like, it's just gonna be a drop, it's gonna be lame, and it's gonna require a bazillion nitroglycerin and all that other stuff, or nitro or whatever, the The stuff from doing 5 stars that I haven't been farming because the stupid cosmic dragon made me broke. Hey, Jackson. But yeah, we'll see whether or not we even get another substantial Trove update this year. Because frankly speaking, I think we'll probably see it early next year. Just because usually the biggest updates for Trove are around March. Because money. But who knows? Now, if they have C5 gear, but it's kind of an afterthought and just a side thing, and then the rest of the content is like really, really good, okay, awesome. But we've been waiting a whole godforsaken year, and if we get C5 gear and U12, I'm not gonna be satisfied. You know, that's not a big enough deal for me. That's not a big enough deal for a lot of players. Like, it better have a new class on top of it, because I swear to God, I still gotta get those new dumb costumes too. That's true, Mystic. You know they would never do that, but I agree. If C5 dropped and was already max level, I'd be fine with that. That would actually be a really big incentive. I would try. The funny thing is, I haven't bothered getting C4 gear on all my characters because I can't bother to max it out. But if I could get C5 as a super rare drop that would be maxed out already, I would have more incentive to try and get all my classes fully geared out. It's kind of the same argument with Genshin Impact and Resin, where rather than having the time-gated like resource, if they removed Resin, I would actually no-life Genshin and max out all my characters. But the fact that it's time-gated behind the energy system, that's what keeps me from playing it. Which, by the way, I haven't quit Genshin. I know I did my last stream like a week ago. I've just been too busy with other games that take priority. I do still want to play more of it, but yeah, I would be okay with that. They're not gonna do that because Trove devs are mean. But help! What's happening? I'm stuck. I'm stuck. Out. There we go. Tens of thousands is nitro from gardening. Well, nitro isn't even the problem. I don't know why I keep saying nitro. It's the cores, whatever, from 5 stars that you can only get 1 per dungeon. It's stupid. Because of the nerf to gardening by reducing the amount of lures dropped in gardening, these large amounts of nitro are no longer reasonable. Ah, yes. GG. Whee! Oof. How do you like Fontaine? Oh, I hate it. It's terrible. I shouldn't say I hate it. It's just so uninspired. And the writing on Genshin, as far as I'm concerned, is garbage now. But I'm trying to like be okay with it. The thing is, I want to play Genshin. I do. But everything about the game is designed around not playing it, you know? And then it's like, I keep having to take long breaks between playing story missions just because the writing is so bad that it like actually hurts me. But I don't know, like, what I'll say about Genshin is you can tell Mondstadt and Fontaine, the first 2 regions, you can tell those areas had years of development, and everything after that has been a rush job. Every story element of the game now feels like it's just to sell characters rather than being something interesting. You know what I mean? Inazuma I actually really liked. There was a lot of cringy, stupid parts in it with like Kujo Sarah and Kokomi and all that stuff not making any sense to the story, but that was to sell characters. But the overall story was actually really good. Sumeru sucked. The desert was terrible. That is not how you do a desert. I think the big thing is, frankly speaking, we need better movement abilities in Genshin. Like, I need Ascend from Tears of the Kingdom. I need mounts in Genshin, like Stuff like that is what's severely hurting it, is that the movement hasn't changed at all. You know, speaking of us talking about Spider-Man gameplay hasn't changed much since the PS2. Well, Genshin hasn't changed in 3 years. It's the same game. And that's what kind of gets me with it. But anyways, I need 4,500 for that dragon. Don't even bother getting the dragon, because frankly speaking, if C5 gear is coming, it's going to be cheaper than the dragon and give you more light anyways, right? Yeah. That's true, actually. The sand biome in Sumeru, that story was a mess. Like, Sumeru's main plot was okay, but it got too they got too distracted with all the side characters they were trying to sell. I still think that they should just have, like, I know they've got their formula and I know it tricks most people, but I personally think that they should have character stories and the main story separate from one another in Genshin. It would just make it so much better. But let's be real, the only, like, what is it? The game is designed around whales, and we're all just there to give the whale someone to play with. Yep, I know about the new character in Genshin, the new fist fighter character. My buddy who loves fist fighters is really excited to get him, but he spent all of his primos on the Kamehameha Goku guy. I don't know his name. So he's probably just gonna wait for a rerun. I keep telling him, don't spend money. Don't do it, bro. The thing is, I find it funny how, like, sometimes when I'm, like, super criticizing, you know, Genshin and stuff, and people will, like, try and defend it, and it's like, yeah, how about you C6 a character, and then you come talk to me? You know, like, I thought I was supporting a game that was gonna go somewhere, and now I just feel like, oh god, I really wish I got that money back. Oh god. I mean, there's no direct upgrading at all, and the difference to, oh yeah, that's what you're talking about, Saris. Yeah, no, I agree as well. I think that we should be able to upgrade from C4 to C5, legit. If they made it so that we could upgrade, that would be a lot better. The thing is, I'm gonna be real, I don't like crystal gear. I don't know if there's any gamers from the Mantle of Power era. I think that was peak Trove, because it added the gem system, but on top of that, it also allowed us to upgrade into stellar gear, and that was the only way of obtaining it at the time. It wasn't like droppable. And that was just like so cool, because it was like, oh dude, you actually have to like work at it and do all these different like weird side quests and stuff. It was really cool. But now oh, here's more crystal gear. And then you know what they're gonna do, right? When C5 gear gets added to the game, for a limited time, it's gonna be locked behind the delves. Alright, this dungeon's done. I am not getting any luck by, oops, I didn't mean to activate that. I'm not getting any luck, by the way. It's funny, when I would do this with my Shadow Hunter, I don't know how many C4 drops I got. I've yet to get like even a single one, let alone a spear. Yep. I would much rather prefer a new rarity instead of just C5, because that's just lame. Make it a new item that takes new resources. Also, yes, Bobby, good. Don't spend money on it. I'll have him by the time he's gone, most likely. Oh, true, because, yeah. Because of all the Freemos you can get. What, Poncho? Yes, whale lives matter. No, the whale is like what is it? Like, I whaled on Genshin. Was it a good decision? No. Would I take all my money back at the cost of being banned from Genshin forever? Yes, I would. But, yeah. C5 gear rarely drops from depth 160 plus. Yeah, then no one would bother getting it. I think let's also address the elephant in the room. The new tier of gear should be tradable. If they made it something like if they made a new tier of gear, or better yet, how about this? How about screw C5 gear? We just get like a new tier of weapons only, and they're class specific. So like a spear that is only good on Lancer specifically gives like some type of a passive or something. And it utilizes the same caches or box system that you have with crystal rings, where maybe you have to do like a quest or something, get some type of currency or something, and then you could buy the box, and then that would be tradable. That would be cool. I would go for that. Then it would actually be something you could grind, you know, like I want to get banned from Genshin so I can have my money back. Legit, dude. No question. I would get banned. I wouldn't care. Hey, Oregon. I wish, yeah, kind of like the class gem system, but like for gear specifically, and just the weapon, you know, don't overwhelm players with all the other pieces of gear. I just think that would work very, very well in Trove. I think that would be really good incentive for like some sort of an end game push, because the biggest thing on top of all of that is the fact that it's not tradable. It's not tradable. It's not tradable. It's not tradable. I don't know what Gamago's obsession is with making everything untradable, because in my opinion, that makes them less money. Like specifically talking about them trying to generate finance for this game, doesn't it make more sense for items to be tradable so that the whales can actually like buy these items and then sell them to other players? Or better yet, make it so that credits could be a tradable currency on the player market, and maybe the credits used on the player market would avoid the taxes, because then we could have it like platinum in Warframe, where it suddenly becomes the primary currency. I know that that's a bit weird, but I just personally think that would be a lot better of a solution instead of them just slowly making everything untradable. Maybe even make it so only specific items like you know, certain items can only be traded for credits. How about that? Like, I think Warframe works as an infrastructure with how they've got their trading system, because they literally have the cash shop currency being the main currency of the game. But free-to-play players can still earn it by selling things to players that have platinum. So, also, hey Kev, what if they had buffs so you can add to your gear, like Echoes and Wayfinder? Oh, like mods in Warframe, you mean? That'd be a more relevant. So I think that would be fine. Personally, I always prefer when something changes gameplay rather than just a stat boost, you know? I'd be okay with it, but I would hope that it has some sort of impact on the gameplay, because otherwise, like, the problem with so many games is that because it's just a stat boost, it's very like uninteresting and not really inspiring for the player. You know what I mean? Like, you can't really be like, oh, look how much more powerful I am. My character's attacks deal explosive damage now. You know, it's like, no, it's just, oh, cool, guys. Look, wow, look at the damage numbers. Yeah, you know, like, that's it. And that's only something that really affects my screen. Nobody else sees it. I don't know. Like, there's definitely a more elegant solution in there instead of just C5 gear. I would be okay with a mod system in Trove just because it would add some sort of complexity. But the problem is that I don't think Trove itself, I don't think that the combat is complex enough to warrant something like that. Because all it would be is just, oh, build for damage. Unless they went crazy with it. Like, could you imagine if they, like, I've talked about this years ago, but if they overhauled enemies in Trove so that they had specific elemental weaknesses and we could deal specific elemental damage, that would be something that would add a much needed layer of complexity. Then mods would work in Trove, because then suddenly you would have the ability like, oh, you deal acidic damage, which breaks the armor of the enemy, so that it makes it vulnerable for the other guy in your group who has direct health damage or something, you know? I don't think that's going to happen, because that would be them completely changing the entire infrastructure of Trove's combat. But I think that it needs that layer of complexity in order to expand in any meaningful way, which unfortunately... Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Exactly. Where if we had class unique weapons that would give us passive buffs for that class. Yeah. Something that would work in tandem with the class. Like maybe, I don't know, off the top of my head for Lancer, it's like, oh, for every time you generate a shadow clone, you get a damage buff. I don't know. Something like that. Something that would be passive that you don't have to go out of your way to do. Or even make it so that they could go and make it something more complex, where it's like, okay, let's say that we're on the dev team. We can look at the metadata, we can see, okay, most players don't even use their ult when they're playing Lunar Lancer, right? So how about we make it so that the buff you get, the passive buff you get, makes it so that you get like a crap ton of damage or something for utilizing your ult. But it has to be worth it. That's the biggest problem with Trove, is the balance in the game, because half the time they do add systems like that where they try to make it so like, oh, you gotta use all the abilities on this character, you know? And then it's like, oh, no, you don't, because most of these abilities suck. So. Oh, Oregon. That is, yes, I would totally take that. Oh, an awaken system, yeah, like Forma Ing. Dude, you know what would work so well in Trove? I think people would really not like it at first if you could Forma your classes. So for anyone that hasn't played Warframe, basically you would reset the character to level 1, but as you would level it up, it would ultimately become stronger. That could work in Trove, and that would actually be that would have been a much better system than the Paragon levels, I think. Because then at least you feel like you're earning something, you know? I could totally see that working in Trove. Then XP potions would actually have a purpose. And you could just keep re-leveling the character over and over again. Yeah. Maybe it could be like, maybe it could even be something like, oh, you gotta reset your level on your character, and then you get like, it would be really stupid, but say you get 1 extra level. So you can get the character to level 31, then 32, then 33. That'd be kind of lame, but at the very least, it would add something, you know? Like, that's the thing. There's so many mechanics that would work with Trove, but I just don't see it happening, you know? Like, I don't know if it's that the mechanics would be too complex, or if it's just that the devs themselves don't know any better. I think it's the latter, because frankly speaking, we've already seen time and time again with the updates that they don't play this game. But I could see something like that, like being able to force your character back to level 1 to ultimately end up being stronger. That would be a huge incentive, because then you would want to invest in a main. It would suddenly become way more important which class that you stay with. Now, granted, in terms of Trove sales, that would be a lot worse, because then why would you ever swap off of your main? Well, here's a quick, easy solution. How about the passive buffs that you get for formatting or re-rolling a character is an account-wide buff. How about that? So maybe each class ends up giving you a different little buff. Maybe one of them gives you movement speed. So, oh, I want to keep grinding my Lunar Lancer because he gives me movement speed. So I can use that movement speed on all my characters, right? And then, ooh, the Draco, if I, keep getting his higher tiered levels, he'll give me crit damage or something, you know? huge incentive to just keep playing the game and keep leveling up characters. Granted, the biggest problem at the end of the day is that we need some type of challenging content. Because as of right now, you know, we've got C4 gear. We don't need it. U11 is basically pointless. Like, yeah, I guess so. Like subclasses for characters, but like something that would be like a perma passive to your account or something. And that's just an idea off the top of my head that would be incentive to grind more than one character. Because obviously at the end of the day, you know, the game is about trying to generate as much income as possible, in which case they need to try and make all of the classes seem appealing rather than just having one that you would stick with. If, you know, respecking a character would even ever become a thing in this hypothetical situation. I think it would also be, it'd be a lot easier rather than doing the re-rolling thing. Maybe make it so that, I don't know, you can get like an advanced version of a class that would be like stronger. Maybe a hybrid that would end up doing something different. But again, you know, that would imply that the game has some sort of complexity to the combat, which it doesn't, so. Yeah, I guess Mastery already does that, Norm. You're right. That's true. But I just think that if it was tied to, like, you know, the main aspect of this game that I enjoy as much as we keep criticizing it is the combat and leveling up characters. Because, you know, the Paragon levels are kind of nice because for me and my brain, so long as I'm killing enemies and actually feel like I'm earning something, that's all the incentive I need to continue playing. You know, and Paragon levels do just that, because before Paragon levels, it felt like, oh, I'm not gaining XP. What a waste. Do I ever spend my Paragon levels? Does it do anything? No. But hey, Murda. Nah, we're just talking about hypotheticals of what could happen with Trove's future, and just kind of talking about the idea of, oh, what if you could form your classes in Trove similar to you do in Warframe, you know, where you basically re-roll them to level 1, but you end up getting stronger once you get them back up to max level. And just kind of trying to think of ideas of how to make that more interesting for the game in terms of like, oh, well, why would you ever play any character other than your main, you know? Do we know when the update is coming out? Bro, we don't know when the next update's coming out, and we don't even know what it's going to have. We're just all assuming it's going to have C5 gear and stuff. None of this other stuff that we're talking about, this is all hypothetical. We're just trying to come up with ideas like, you know, that would be better than just C5 gear. Let's be real, anything would be better than just another tier at this point. But I don't know whether or not we're going to get C5 gear in the first place. I don't know. I do wish, like, that... Genuinely, I do wish that the devs would kind of consult the community about, like, updates and stuff like that. Not to necessarily say that I have the best ideas or anything, but it's like the fact that I'm so in with you guys in the Trove community means that I get to have these ideas and we get to explore all of this stuff together, you know? And then we get to all contribute to it. It's like, I'd love to be able to tell them about these things and just be like, hey, what do you think about this? And just be more real with them and just be like, hey, so here's what players would want. And they don't want C5 gear. But, yeah. I don't know. I guess that's what happens when I've been playing this game longer than most of the devs have been on the dev team. Yeah, exactly. A new tier of gear on top of Crystal that would do anything different. That would already be better, yes. It's got to be something more than just C5 gear, dude. Another idea somebody said in chat, I forget who that was that Mystic or something, but if C5 gear was in the game and it was in our rare drop, but if it was maxed out so you didn't have to upgrade it, I'd settle for that. It would still be disappointing in the long run, but at least that would be like, oh, what a relief. And then I would actually try to get C5 gear on all of my characters instead of C4 I don't have C4 gear on all my characters. I swap it between them because what the heck is the point? It's just so ridiculously expensive to upgrade. Speaking of, there's a C4 hat. Boop. Too expensive to upgrade. I need the weapon. Dang it. Well, we'll complete this dungeon and then maybe we'll do one more tower. Hey, Terp. How you been, man? It's been a while. Sons of the Forest is out. I need to get a PC to play, though. Rip. Been out for a while. I had a playthrough of it months ago. What do you mean, man? Don't worry, they'll have a console release at one point when it goes to 1.0. Yeah, that's the biggest thing, Poncho, is like the type of person that I am can come off as mean, but it's like I'm just very blunt, you know? I'm straight to the point. I'm not like, as much as I'm so open about criticizing the devs and the decisions that they end up making with the game and stuff like that, I'm still the first person to defend them. Because I know that a lot of the issues with Trove's development has to do with the higher ups, Game Ago, telling them, oh, make it so that delves, make it so that you can charge money on delves. And then, you know, they make it so that you can buy delve portals for credits. Nobody does it, but I'm sure that was a Game Ago decision, you know? And I think that the devs work really hard, but the problem is that a lot of the ideas that we come up with are very expensive and time consuming to make. I think that it would be better in the long run, but let's refer to Genshin Impact again. Genshin Impact rips off Breath of the Wild. And what do they do now that Tears of the Kingdom is out? They start ripping off more mechanics from Zelda. Because rather than come up with their own original ideas and pump money back into the project to make it the greatest game ever made, their number one concern is making profits. And that's why they do everything as cheaply as possible. And that's kind of the big problem with the generic CEO company men versus someone who is genuinely passionate about the project. And the funny thing is that they would make more money if they actually invested more into it and made it a better game. But they don't see that, you know, they only deal in like nickel and diming and dollars and cents and stuff, you know, despite the fact that Genshin's making billions of dollars per year, like billions with a B, not millions. And so in comparison, you know, something like Trove, which is much smaller budget, much smaller development team, and suddenly these ideas become a lot less realistic. I still would heavily criticize the fact that the inventiveness of the updates for Trove, you know, the ideas behind them are not cool. Like what idiot thought it was a good idea to add a tax update? You know, stuff like that. It's like, versus something a little bit more simple that wouldn't require them to overhaul the entire player market. But anyways, yeah, sorry, I kind of got cross-wired there because I was using Genshin as an example and then moving on to like Trove stuff, and it's just... Yeah. No, I agree, Pink. I think that the tax update, like as much as people give it a lot of slack, I think that it was a good solution to a lot of the flux inflation, yes. But my biggest point is, who thought that needed to be a priority versus new content, you know? But anyways, now we're getting all into the philosophical of the whole thing, which at the end of the day, it's just a video game, and the team behind it is not like, the thing is, with video games in general, this is completely separate from Trove. Video games in general are so successful now that people will actually go to college to become a game dev when they don't even play video games. That does not make any sense to me, because in my generation, like, you were shunned for playing video games. Nerd, loser, you know, basement dweller and all that stuff. Like, now gaming is just so casual and so normal and so monetized that you don't always have a passionate nerd behind it who's like, I want to make the greatest game ever made. No, they just want to make a paycheck. It's just another job now. And that's besides the point of what Trove is, you know. But anyways, yeah, sorry, Turb. I'm trying to keep up with the comments on top of my ranting and tangents, but yeah, I'm on the fence about Arc 2, like, because it's, as far as I know, what the devs are doing with Arc now is they're porting Arc 1 into Unreal Engine 5, and then they're reselling it at full price, which is hilarious. And Arc 2 is going to be more of a cinematic adventure. It's not just going to be Arc 1, but bigger and better. As far as I know, it's going to be a lot shorter and a lot more condensed. So, I don't know, man. I'll see when the game gets a little bit closer. Maybe if it's got multiplayer and I can play it with my mates, possibly. But I don't know. What if the weekly effort classes on, wait, what? Oh, on leaderboards also get a buff on them for the week so people can choose to have a new main for a bit. It's refreshing to them. I mean, I don't care about the leaderboard. The leaderboard is kind of like min-maxing and who has the most money. So, or who has the most time on their hands. I don't know. They can do whatever they want with the leaderboard. I really don't care. Yes, Kev. At the end of the day, I just want more classes. I've talked about that before as well. For my money, if money could vote on like what I would want added to Trove, I'd say, okay, do I want more complex systems to the combat? Or do, you know, or let's say for example this year's update, which is more than likely going to be C5 gear U12. I'd rather have new classes. This whole year I would have just rather had a new class to play with. And I want cool classes, man. I don't like the Bard, although I agree it's a good class for the game just because it's so weird and unorthodox. I did not like the Solarian. I want a cool class, man. I want a badass that is just like, oh, dude, that's my new main. Granted, it's all subjective. You know, lots of people love the Solarian and love the Bard. I'm not saying that they're bad classes by any means. I'm just saying I want a class that I like. I want my Samurai class, dude, that plays like Jin Sakai and Ghost of Tsushima. Would you play Metal Gear when it comes out on Steam? Which Metal Gear? You mean Metal Gear 3 or whatever? Like the Snake Eater remake? More than likely. It depends what's going on at the time. Because there might be other games that I'm already playing. But yeah, right now, quick reminder, guys. Tonight in like, let me, okay. It's almost 8 my time. So in 2 hours, Spider-Man and Mario Wonder. Like, I could hyperventilate right now with the excitement that I have. Most of all for Mario Wonder, but Spider-Man is gonna be a treat. So with Spider-Man, I'll let you guys know I probably won't be playing that until like maybe 10 or 11 Pacific time. Because I'm gonna be going to the store to get a physical copy of the game. Which means that I'm gonna have to install it on my PS5, which is probably gonna take a long time. You know how it is nowadays. But I wanted to have a physical copy so that when I'm done with the game, I can sell it. Because let's be real, I don't think I'm gonna play it beyond beating it. Mario Wonder video is gonna come out tomorrow, though. I'm not gonna be streaming that tonight or anything. But Spider-Man I'll stream tonight. That's probably gonna be a stream series. Oh, game crashed. Hey TF Ghost, yeah, it has been a while. How you been, man? Let's just pray they don't add anything to Geode Caves. Oh, I know. No, they're gonna add. They're gonna make it so that C5 gear is in delves 160 and up, right? Yeah, totally. What floor are we on? Or wave? Almost at 11. Okay, so we'll beat this last boss and then we'll finish up. So if you guys had any more questions or anything, ask now, because then I'll read them before we finish up. Yeah. Oh dear God. But yeah, I'm really pumped for the games that are coming out. Speaking of which, I didn't even upload the rest of my videos for today. Because I'm an idiot. There's that one. The ball game is still uploaded, and it's still got 60 minutes for the HD version. Are you kidding me? So stupid. Maybe those will be the only 2 videos I upload for the day, because let's be real, it takes so long to process videos on YouTube now. I don't know what's going on. When is C5 coming out? So I want to be clear, C5 is just what we're all speculating, because we know it's going to be the easiest thing for them to implement into the game, but we don't know, like, actually what's going on. Yeah. Like, we don't know when the next update's gonna hit. It might not even have... Whoops. It might not even have Crystal 5. It's just kind of an assumption. Do you upload your PS5 gaming? What? What do you mean? I have lots of PS5 playthroughs, if that's what you're asking. Like, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna stream Spider-Man 2 later tonight. It's probably gonna be a live stream series, just because of the type of game that it is, being open world and stuff. It just kind of makes the most sense to me. Feel like they changed their mind about C5 and are adding something else? Well, I hope so. But the thing is, so Crystal 5 gear has already been leaked. When the update came that had C4 gear, the devs accidentally, like, they were giving out C4 gear on the test server and they accidentally gave a player C5 gear. So that's where a lot of us know it's coming. I hope that they back on it, you know, and change it up. I don't know. But the problem with Trove updates, as usual, is it's all rumors. You never know. Like, yeah, Norm saying the rumor is December. We don't know. The latest rumor for that is that the next update is going to have a new class and is going to be a spear character. That's one of the reasons I'm low-key trying to get a C4 spear. Could be all smoke and mirrors. We don't know. You know, that's the problem with Trove. You never know. It's all up in the air until it just suddenly hits. Like, nobody knew the Cosmic Dragon was coming. So anytime you hear me or anybody else talk about like C5 gear and stuff, it's all just speculation and it's all just kind of theory crafting based on guesswork, you know, little hints that the devs have either accidentally talked about or leaked or shown at one point or another, but they could completely change it all. Personally, I think that more than likely the update isn't going to be December. I think it's going to be next year, just because they usually have a spring summer update for Trove, and that's usually the biggest update. I say that even though this year we didn't have one, so yeah. Yeah, exactly, Jovian. The big summer update this year never came out. Yep. I know. I don't know whether or not the big summer update didn't come out because of complications behind the scenes, or the update is just too ambitious, or Game Ago is like cutting funding. You never know with these types of things, man. Like, I don't know. I don't remember what the C5 gear stats were. I just remember that it was just higher than C4, obviously. But the funny thing is that the dev said, what was their explanation? It was so weird. They said that, oh, they accidentally generated a piece of crystal gear and the stats on it were so high that the game automatically called it C5 gear. I refuse to believe that, because they would have had to actually add in the code for it to go up to C5. Otherwise, it would just go to a stopping point of C4. The game's not that complex where it's going to automatically calculate and be like, oh, this is C5. Oh, if the stats are high enough, it's C6. You know, like, no. They just messed up. A faction system with master schools for each class and the hub. Content with hardcore grind quests when completing and reach a certain level. It will let you select a second form. For example, if you play as Neo Ninja, you can choose Samurai, Semi-Tank, Field Control, or Shinobi, which master in Stealth. Yes, that will never happen. That is way too complex of a pipe dream. I would love that, or again, genuinely. But that, to me, is too unrealistic, considering the small dev team and the amount of complexity of doing that for 18 different classes. I think, okay, let's compromise. Let's settle in the middle here. How about a select amount of not subclasses, because we already have subclasses, a select amount of advanced classes. So maybe, maybe you gotta get 3 of these classes, maybe 4 of them strong enough that you could get a new advanced class, or better yet, how about, let's just take it at surface value. How about you have to get this entire row at the bottom maxed out, and then there's a new class in the middle. This whole row, new class in the middle. This whole row, new class in the middle. Maybe you max out all those classes and you get an Ultra God class or something. Probably would never happen, but I think that would be a lot easier for them to make, a limited amount of advanced classes rather than advanced classes for everyone. You know what I mean? And how far are we going? Because in my brain, I'm thinking new attack animations and blah, 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 Are there going to be any new classes soon or no? No idea. It's all just speculation. Don't take anything we're talking about, take it all with a grain of salt, because we're just all talking about things that we'd be hyped for. Devs haven't said anything. The rumor is the next class is going to have a spear, but who knows if that's true. A new piece of gear like boots that excel in movement speed. I'd take it. You could get your Yeezys. Anyways. I gotta wrap up. Thanks guys for coming out. Appreciate it. Always like these theory crafting and talking about things that we wish was in this game. We know the update is not going to have anything like that. But anyways, potentially I'll see you guys in a couple hours when we start streaming Spider-Man 2. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, night, whatever time it is. And I'll catch you in the next one.